Hello there everyone, and welcome on back to the channel. We are continuing our balance patch review / impressions, and this time we're taking a look at the grim, the necrotic, and the chillingly terrifying Reaper. This recent update brought a decent amount of power buffs and added a few effects which can change up the rotation in rather interesting ways. Gonna be honest, at first I was like, did I like it? Do I now like it? You'll just have to watch the rest of the video to find out. So let's take a look at this chillingly edgy necromantic Reaper. And I've been waiting for so long to finally say this on my YouTube channel. Do you know what else is cool and edgy? This week's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Raid Shadow Legends is a mobile RPG filled with harrowing dungeons and glorious bosses. Collect a wide range of warriors, clerics, and spellcasters, configure your team, and set off on epic adventures. Here are some of my favorite reasons to play. One of my favorite features of Raid is their variety of characters and archetypes that they fill. With great attention to detail, the character models look stunning, and such detail is never lost on the spell effects or the combat. And where better to take such stunning characters in combat than in my favorite game mode of Dungeons. I love me some PvE. Content where you progress through waves of monsters to reach your final challenge of the dungeon boss. Now, everyone needs to blow off some steam now and again, and that's why I love the Arena game mode. This is a place where you can face off against other players and their champion loadouts. The arena really pushes me to play my best, and it's kinda kicked me in the butt sometimes, but that's why I love it. And as always, there are plenty of new champions being added to the game, and some particularly nice champions for these festive holiday seasons. And 'tis the season for gifts and surprises. And Raid's got something special for you. The new legendary champion based off of MMA and pro wrestling legend Ronda Rousey. You can get Ronda for free right now, whether you're just starting out or you're a longtime player. Start collecting the new legendary champion simply by logging in for 7 days between now and February 20th. To celebrate Ronda's arrival in Raid, you can also use the special promo code RAIDRONDA to get a bunch of perks like XP boosters, 500,000 silver, and 5 energy refills, perfect for leveling up the new champion. Enter the promo code RAIDRONDA in-game to get these goodies now. And if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can get your own special rewards right now. So if you haven't played Raid Shadow Legends, you can remedy that using my link in the description or by scanning the QR code that has been eyeballing you on screen. Oh, come on, scan it. I know you want to. These rewards will only be available for the next 30 days and to new players. So if you're new, you better hop on it quick. Get the free epic champion Rector Drath, 200k silver, 1 energy refill, and 1 XP booster, along with 1 ancient shard, so you can summon awesome champions as soon as you get in game. Thank you to our week's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Now back to our chilling adventures with our Reaper. Thank you so very kindly to this week's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Be sure to go and use the description down below. But let us get on with the video and start talking about the Reaper and all of its changes, while also highlighting my current build, which is pulling from kind of the meta from Snow Crows a little while ago. But I've also been playing around with a couple other utility skills, but as we get to that, we will go a bit more in depth. So let's start with, of course, the gear in a weird way. I mean, it's no different than the gear that I'm usually running. Full Berserkers also could implement elements of Valkyrie or dragons as well to increase your vitality. That's not a bad idea. Currently running with Superior Rune of the Eagle. There's probably a better one out there, but deal 10% increased strike damage to targets with less than 50% health, which is kind of the element that you're going for with Reaper. You're going to be wanting to focus targets that have low health due to, of course, your Gravedigger. You have your Reaper Shroud 5th ability, Executioner's Scythe, that does exponentially more damage at lower health, and as we go into these traits, you'll see more of that idea of lower health targets. But I'm running with Spite, Soul Reaping, and the Reaper. For Spite, I'm running with Spiteful Talisman, increasing damage to boonless foes, Awaken the Pain, and Close to Death. For Soul Reaping, I've decided to run with Unyielding Blast, which is kind of your standard, and soul barbs. This is a very important change. Soul barbs duration was increased to 15 seconds, up from 10 seconds, so you'll have more of this damage increase while in Shroud and also while out of Shroud, and it allows you to kind of permanently stay in your soul barbs mode to gain that 10% increased damage. So it kind of adds a different layer to the Reaper Shroud and your timing with it. Other than that, I'm taking Death Perception. They've buffed this to 15% critical damage increase and critical chance increase, both being at 15%, and just another element to help you with your damage and your crit chance. Now let's talk about the Reaper and these traits. Chilling Nova was dropped down to 3 seconds for its cooldown, which means that you're going to be getting this packet of chill and damage much more frequently, increasing your access to group chill, also blasting out damage. This isn't a combo blast, but it visually looks like you're blasting out damage to enemies around you for a decent amount in PvE, and I really like this. I think it's really cool. I'm also running with Soul Eater to increase my damage by another 10%, but also the healing is pretty good, considering that many of the Reaper Greatsword skills themselves have been buffed with their power coefficients, so you're going to be getting more healing out of this. When it comes to another trait, I would love to see kind of buffed up Chilling Victory. I think this would work really nice as a might sharing trait, so that you gain 1% life force when you strike a foe and grant might to allies around you. I don't believe you can really get to full stacks of might unless this works in the way that if you strike multiple targets at once, this will give you 5 might if you hit 5 enemies at one time. And finally, for the Grandmaster, we have Reaper's Onslaught. This was not changed. I've always thought that the ferocity from this could be moved to also to decimate defenses. And then this could just, this feels like such a mandatory Grandmaster. Also, I'd love to see Deathly Chill be reverted and changed back to Chill doing strike damage instead of Chill applying bleeding. I just think it would, I don't know. If you want to do Connie specs, you know, Harbinger and even Scourge are there. I think this would maybe be a little bit more interesting to have like damage over time, but for strike damage and power builds, just to maybe increase access to certain playstyles and builds depending on the fight. And I'm running with double Wells, Well of Suffering and Well of Darkness, just because these are so strong, and Signet of Spite because of that 180 power. Chill to the Bone was also buffed to now grant you might and fury per target struck. So you can get a decent amount of might if you have more enemies around you. Many of the Reaper abilities and traits end up improving. You'll gain more benefits with more enemies around you. So you can get up to 10 might. As for the shouts, I still sometimes use You Are All Weaklings. Suffer could be a bit more damage oriented. And also the tooltip is kind of like flipped around with the condition transferred and the damage, which has always been a visual anomaly. Nothing can save you. I think with the cast time, having a little bit more damage in PvE could also be nice. And then Rise is perfectly good. It's a very defensive shout, but I do love that it summons minions. I have to mention that your auto attack will now totally refresh the cooldown of Gravedigger. So one thing you can do is actually open with Gravedigger and then basically kill everyone. And then as soon as you get your final hit off, you can immediately use it again. So it has somewhat augmented your rotation when you are fighting an enemy that is above 50% health to spam your auto attack and then use Gravedigger, use your auto attack into Gravedigger. The more I've played around with it, the more I actually enjoy it. At first, it felt kind of just like, was that necessary? But it actually creates a rather interesting play style. And of course, all of the damage numbers have really been bolstered to be, this is Heart of Thorns, and I feel like this might be a separate topic, but there is a lack of power creep in Guild Wars 2 because we don't get more gear. However, the balance patches as of recent have really acted to just kind of be that power creep in the game, because now you're just one-hitting a lot of things, and I'm not necessarily in the best build that I could be in terms of my min-maxing of my runes and my sigils and my infusions and all of that, but I'm still like basically just killing everything in a one auto attack chain. It really feels like the expansion zones are now feeling like Corteria in terms of the ability to kill things too quickly, which I think is the other end of the sword, the other end of the blade, stabbing into us players when you are wanting damage numbers to kind of be a bit better in endgame content. I think it's had kind of a negative impact in the open world experience. In addition to all the great swords changes, of course we have Reaper Shroud, which is just like also been buffed a whole bunch. You can get some blinds, like auto attacks, just you are decimating things, which prior you would have had to kind of play in combat for at least five or 6 seconds between each encounter, and now you're really just like, you're walking these dogs. You're walking the dogs. And I really enjoyed Chill to the Bone. I think that's another skill to really note in terms of having received really nice buffs over the years. Chill to the Bone feels like a very strong damaging ability in the open world now. And especially with this and all of its boons that it's going to be applying to yourself, it's even better. It has such wild range as well. Also getting a little bit of that chilling Nova that you might see pop and explode every once in a while, which is just adding more damage to it. Of course, as a Necromancer, Reapers gain access to minions, and that is another source of passive damage. Oh, okay, I missed that. But even if you miss it, you just got to complete your auto attack chain. And if you had quickness with this, oh, it would be even more tasty, I'm being honest. But yeah, oh gosh, these beetles are punishing me. Let's try using Executioner's Scythe as well. The more around you, the better. This below 50%, instant kill. Very good, very good. And I'm really enjoying Reaper. This build has been consistent for quite some time, but the damage numbers have always been up for debate and up for criticism. But I don't know what the best damage number or the damage possibility is. I haven't really looked at benchmarks. We still might have to wait a little bit longer on that, but it feels really comfortable in open world. Like, to the point where I'm like, I don't know if it needs more buffs. Just because you have your Reaper Shroud and it actually is extremely powerful in terms of self-defense. If we look to other elite specs and classes like the Weaver, they don't have that innate survivability, and I'm starting to really get the picture of how it kind of feels to play Necromancer in a world where they are buffing its damage to such an extent while keeping its survivability. It becomes the best class to play. It's very simple, it's very straightforward. You have a lot of trait flexibility as well. Even if you wanted to sacrifice a little bit of damage for some more survivability, it's not like you'd be hit all that hard to the point where you're not going to be able to clear open world content, and you'd probably be able to play fractals, strike missions, and hell, with its simplicity, this will be really great for raids. Its simplicity and its survivability. So I have glowing reviews for the Reaper right now. I think it's particularly strong, particularly cool. Let's pull this and let's stun it. Interrupt and just wha-bam! Huge hits. And I didn't even have soul barbs up. I'm not even at full might. I'm not even at quickness or like perma fury. Reaping souls. It's reaping the rewards of the balance currently. So thank you all so very much for coming on by. Like the video if you liked it. Comment below your thoughts about Reaper. Hopefully this was a nice insight to a potential like very beginner's build. I whipped this up and just been playing with it. It's very easy, very straightforward. So hopefully this has come across as helpful and maybe interesting in terms of gameplay if you are just perusing the classes. If you'd like to support the channel, head on over to Patreon if you would like to get early access to all of these videos. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, head on down to the description and download Raid Shadow Legends. I also stream over on Twitch every day of the week, playing some Guild Wars 2 and doing some giveaways, so I'd love to see you over there. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you in the next video talking about the next class. Bye everyone!